And in this series, in this current affairs initiatives of career flight, we're going to talk about the current affairs since uh, of this year 2019. Okay, we'll talk about all the important current affairs of this year 2019, and which is having a very good chance to ask in the forthcoming civil service examinations. So we'll start from this 2019 January onwards, and we'll try to cover all the important topics that has come in recent news in this year. We will start from the first topic is Citizenship Amendment Bill. Citizenship Amendment Bill. Now, this bill has been in news since a long time because there are some issues going on. Now, before going to Citizenship Amendment Bill, first we'll try to know what is Citizenship Act. The Constitution has recognized Indian Citizenship Act. According to the Constitution of India, we can find Citizenship Act of 1955. Now, this act, Citizenship Act of 1955, in our constitution, now how it defines the citizenship of the country, who are the citizens of the country and who are not the citizen of the country, is defined by this Citizenship Act of 1955 by our constitution. Now, what they say, what the Citizenship Act of 1955 says, that people of this country, persons are citizens of this country, and they can acquire the citizen of the country through different processes like by birth, by descent, naturalization, naturalization, registration, and acquiring of territory. So if India acquires a particular territory from another part of the world, then that people of the territory will become citizen of India. That is called acquire of territory. Through that process, then again registration, naturalization, descent, and birth, all these things you might have studied in your political science book. So through this process, through these different ways, the persons can acquire the citizenship of the country. Now, we have also amended this. We have from time to time we have amended this bill, Citizenship Act. We have amended from time to time according to the need of the situation, and many times we have amended and has given some card, new card like OCI, overseas citizens for the overseas citizenship of India, the people who are of Indian origin and living abroad. For them, we have OCI card for the overseas citizenship of India. And if they apply for the OCI card and if they get this OCI card, then they will get some benefit. They will get some benefit from the country like multi entry, and they will get visa for multiple entry in India, and they can come India and they can stay for a long time. So these are some benefit that can be acquired by OCI card holders. Now this citizenship amendment bill that have not yet passed, but there are some issues going on. Now what kind of issues it is going on? Now what is actually says, what is the meaning of citizenship amendment bill? What are the things they have put in this bill? First of all, they are going to recognize some of the people. And one thing you have to know in Citizenship Act 1955 is that they also recognize foreigners. They also recognize foreigners. I mean illegal foreigners, illegal foreigners. All foreigners that are coming to India are not illegal, but some of them who are coming to India without valid documents, valid visa or valid passport, they will be categorized as illegal foreigners if they are staying in India for a long time. So the Citizenship Act of 1955 says both the different ways through which you can acquire the citizenship at the same time who are not the citizens of this country according to Citizenship Act of 1955. Now, what the amendment has said, now what is the purpose of this amendment? According to the Citizenship Amendment Bill, they have recognized some of the illegal immigrants, those who has come from our neighboring countries, three neighboring countries like Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. Bangladesh. So the minorities in this country, those who are minorities in this country, as we know, the people of the country of Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, they are Islamic countries. So if you talk about the minorities in these countries, then they will be mostly of other faith other than Islam, and those who are Hindu, Sikh, Christian, Jain, Buddhist, those people, Parsis, these people come under minority in these countries. They're minorities, and this bill has expressed these minorities as persecuted minorities. Persecuted minorities. It means they're persecuted in their own country of Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. Means there is a threat to their life and property in their country. And because of that, these people, persecuted minorities, have stayed in India for a long time without valid documents. They are staying in India for a long time without valid documents. And this bill says that these persecuted minorities, that includes the religion of Hindu, Sikh, Persian, Parsi, then you can say Jain, Buddhist, Christian. So these are considered, this group of people, these communities, these particular communities, Hindu, Sikh, Parsi, Jain, Buddhist, and Christian, these particular communities are considered as persecuted minorities in their home countries of Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. Now, what the government wants to do, what the government of India, the central government wants to do through this citizenship amendment bill, through this bill, the government wants to give these people who are living in India without valid document. Technically, they are illegal immigrant. They are not citizen of this country technically. But what this government wants to do through this bill is that these persecuted minorities will get citizenship of India. They will get citizenship of India. And what is the date they have discussed? They have thought, they have given us December 2014. December 2014. If these people have come before 2014, December 2014, if they have come before December 2014, then they will be considered as citizens of the country. They will be citizen of the country if they have come before December 2014. And it doesn't matter whether they have documents or not, valid documents or not. Now this bill has changed many aspects of this Citizenship Act of 1955. Now what kind of changes they have done? Let us see. The changes that the government is planning to do in this Citizenship Act of 1955, so that they can accommodate the illegal immigrants of these persecuted minorities into India. They can become citizenship of, they can take the citizenship of India. Now, first of all, for any person to acquire the citizenship of India, they have to stay in India for 11 years in totally. Okay, aggregate of 11 years. It's not, it is not required that they have to continuously stay for 11 years. Total in aggregate, they have to stay for 11 years. Now, what this bill has proposed that they'll reduce this 11 years to 6 years. Now, beginning at the beginning, according to the Citizenship Act, to acquire the citizenship of a country through naturalization, then you have to stay in India for at least 11 years. Now, according to this amendment, 6 years of stay is enough in the country, plus 12 months of continuous stay. 12 months of continuous stay. This is the first change in the bill. And accordingly, the people, the persons, the particular minorities, if they are living for in India for last 6 years, and they have come before this December 2014, they are supposed to get the citizenship of the country. And again, for OCA also, OCA card holders or holder also, they have made some amendment. This bill has done some amendment for the OCA card holder also. If they found guilty, if they found violating any of the Indian laws, if they found these people who are having this OCA card, if they found guilty of violating any of the Indian laws, then the OCA card will be withdrawn from them. Okay, they cannot be anymore OCA card holders in India. Now, how it will affect the persecuted minorities? How this bill will affect the persecuted minorities? How this bill is going to affect the persecuted minorities? First of all, the persecuted minorities are, as we know, they are from the Islamic countries of Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. And since they're having threat into their life and their property, and they can come back, they can become the citizenship of India according to this bill, and they can settle in India. They can get all these documents in India, like driving license, PAN card, Aadhaar card. At the same time, they can apply for a job, government job. Then again, they can do their own business, all these things. They can buy property here in India. So this is going to help the people of this particular communities, those who are considered as persecuted minorities. So it is going to change their life. Means they are going to get the citizenship of the country, and at the same time, they will come in on par with the other citizen of this country. So it is going to help their lifestyle, and they're going to become the main citizen of this country. Now we have seen that some now this is the plus point, that they are going to get these illegal immigrants, those who are living an unsecured life, they are going to get a secured life. But in some part of the country, you can see the people are against this bill. Most of the people are against this bill. Not all, especially in these northeastern areas. And if you talk about this Assam Valley, people are against this bill mostly. Now, what is the reason for this? Why these people are against this bill? This bill is getting, some of the group of people are against this bill, both at the national level and state level. National level and state level. Many people are against this bill, both at national level and state level. If you talk about national level, those who are, some of them said that it goes against Article 14 of the Indian Constitution, that talks about equality. So they said that Article 14, that says about equality irrespective of all the religion, caste, all these things. This is going to affect the constitution of the country, the law of the country. How? If we are providing citizenship to only particular community, excluding another particular community, so it goes against the ethos of the constitution. The constitution, according to, in the eyes of the constitution, all religion are same. But since they are picking some particular communities here, so it goes against the moral value of the constitution. At the national level, they say that. At the same time, some of the minorities, they are really persecuted. They are persecuted in the neighboring countries like Myanmar, the Rohingyas, even the Ahmadiyas in Pakistan. So they are not included in this bill. The second thing is that Rohingyas and Ahmadiyas, they are not included in this bill because they belong to some other community that do not come under this persecuted minorities defined by this bill. So there are some national issues. And again, one more issue is that why considering Afghanistan, we can say that we can say that Pakistan, we can accept Pakistan and Bangladesh because they were part of the undivided India. Pakistan and Bangladesh were a part of the undivided India, and this bill is okay with this Pakistan and Bangladesh part. But why they have included Afghanistan? Because Afghanistan was not part of undivided India. If they have included Afghanistan, why not they are including countries, other neighboring countries like Sri Lanka, and again Myanmar, all these countries, they are also our neighbors. Even we can see some migration issues in Sri Lanka also with the Tamil and the Sinhalas people of Sri Lanka. So this will only talk about the Afghan, these three countries. So Pakistan and Bangladesh were part of the undivided India, but Afghanistan was not part of the undivided India. So there again a question, on what basis they have said that Afghanistan will be another country from where we can accept the people. Now, at the state level, why people are against this bill at the state level? And if you talk about the state level, particularly Assam, Assamese, mostly Assamese people are against this bill, especially in this Brahmaputra Valley. Now, why? Because there's an Assam Accord. We must have heard about this Assam Accord, 1985. Now, what is Assam Accord? of 1985. According to Assam Accord of 1985, it was a memorandum of settlement. It was a memorandum of settlement between the central government and the Assam movement and a group of people who were involved in the Assam movement. So, according to settlement, what they have said that the people that has come from Bangladesh in between 1951 to 1961, they will get complete citizenship of India with the right to vote also. The people, the migrated people, those who have come from Bangladesh to Assam in the year between 1951 to 1961, they will get complete citizenship of India, including right to vote. The person who has come from 1961 to 1971, they will not get right to vote for 10 years. For 10 years, they are not going to get right to vote for 10 years. After that, they will get right to vote, and again, they will enjoy all these other government issues, government schemes. So this is the Assam Accord, and there is also a clause called Clause 6. Clause 6 in Assam Accord. The Clause 6 of Assam Accord actually talks about the protection of the indigenous people, the cultural, linguistic recognition of this minority people. So not indigenous people. Clause 6 talks about the protection of the cultural and linguistic identity of this indigenous people. But this Citizenship Amendment Bill, now according to Assam Accord, to keep the promise of the Assam Accord, now the Supreme Court has initiated the NRC process, National Register of Citizenship process. Now according to NRC, the March midnight of 24th March 1971 was considered as a deadline. Midnight of 24th March 1971 was considered as a deadline. Okay, those who has come from before this deadline, they will be citizenship. They will be part of this country. They will be citizen of the country and part of Assam. But according to this bill, they have considered the year December 2014. According to this bill, the people, those who are coming before December 2014, they will become the citizens of India. But what the NRC says, what the Supreme Court says, Assam Court says, according to NRC, those who have come to India before 1971, they will be citizen of India. So, if you see, there's a big gap in this year, 2014 and 1971. So, if you include the persons, those who are coming after 1971 to 2014, a huge number, it will increase the population of the number of people will increase drastically from this in this period in this gap. So if we say that, if you see the technical part, this NRC is that it will become a futile process. It will become a futile process. We have invested lots of time and energy and money in the NRC process, and if we apply this bill, CAB, Citizenship Amendment Bill, those who are considered the people that came before December 2014, that is against the 1971 year, it will become a futile process. That's why it goes against the Assam Accord. That is the issue. Why people of Assam is against this bill mostly. Now, how the central government has approached the state government? How the central government has approached the state government to solve these issues? First of all, they are planning to keep the promises in clause 6. The promises in clause 6 of the Assam Accord. Now, what it says, clause 6 says that the indigenous people, the culture and linguistic identity of the indigenous people should be protected. And this central government is trying to make on panel that will see who are really the Assamese people. First, they will find out who are really the Assamese people, and accordingly, they'll try to protect those people, their identity, linguistic identity, and cultural identity. Now, also, they have promised to give tribal status. They have promised to give tribal status to some of the major communities of the state. The central government has promised to give tribal status to some of the major communities of the state. Those who are under OBC till now. Those groups are Coach Rajbansi, then Tayahom, Sutia, T tribes, Moran, Motak community, So Moran Motak community T tribes, Sutia, Taya home, Coast Rajbansi, they are going to get tribal status. So central government is planning to give them tribal status, and accordingly they will get reservation and many benefit does the tribal people get. So if you see, if they get the tribal status, and with the 34% of Muslim population in Assam, so this Assam, the state of Assam will become a tribal state if the tribal status is given to the, all these communities. So the Assam will become a tribal state if the major communities gets the tribal status from the government of India. So these are the main issues of the Citizenship Amendment Act. Now, what the government should do actually, the purpose of the government is good, that is to protect the persecuted minorities. But at the same time, the government also should take care of the indigenous people. Okay, they should apply this clause 6. They should keep in mind the clause 6. And at the same time, they should see that the demography of the state doesn't change. They should keep in your mind that the demography of the state should not change. The next topic that I'm going to cover is reservation for economically weaker sections. Reservation for economically weaker sections, or you can say EWS, economically weaker sections. So those who people they do not cover under any of the reservation. The group of people, the communities in India, they do not who do not cover who are not covered under any of the reservation schemes. Okay, they do not fall under either SC, ST, OBC. Then this group of people will be known as EWS, and the government is planning to give 10% reservation to the EWS people. Those who are economically weaker. So the economically weaker sections will get 10% reservation, both in government job and in education institute. Admission in education institute. So they can get admission in education institute and reservation in government job. 10% reservation and 10% seats will be reserved in institute also, except minority institute, except the institute that are minority, run by minorities. Except the minorities, minority institute, they can get reservation, 10% reservation in the admission. So this is the main theme of this reservation for economic weaker section. So this 10% of the people, 10% reservation will be there for the people, those who are not covered under any reservation scheme by the government of India. Now for that, the government has amended the Article 15. Article 15 has been amended by the have done amendment in the Article 15. Now again, Article 15 talks about discrimination based on religion, race, caste. So they have to amend the Article 15 because this is a kind of discrimination based on caste. You can include caste here, right? So they have to amend the article. So Article 15 has been amended. Then again, they have amended the Article 16, and they have made another article, Article 16.6. They have made another article called Article 16.6. So according to these two articles, these economic weaker sections are going to get help, aid from the government. These people are going to get aid from the government, both in the education institute, admission in the education institute, and a government job. Now again, some of the people are against this reservation and some of the people are supporting this reservation. Now we're going to put arguments for both those who are supporting this bill, reservation for economic weaker sections bill, and those who are against this bill. Now if you see, there's a case, Ram Singh versus Union of India. Ram Singh versus Union of India in 2015. In 2015, there's a case in Supreme Court, Ram Singh versus Union of India. Now, what happened in that case is that the Supreme Court has told that the judges has told that till now we have been following the reservation policy based on caste system, but the time has come that there is no we cannot find relationship between class and caste. The relationship between caste and class is decreasing now. In the beginning, since British times, there have been a relationship between caste and class. High caste people were having high class. Economically, they are higher in class, high caste people. But as we see the trend now, the caste, we can see some changes. People are from different caste are can be found in different class, in different economically. Some of the low caste people can be found better in economic status. So what the Supreme Court has said that in this case, since there is a change in class and caste status, so there is a we need to bring a law that will help the people who are economically in disadvantaged section, who are economically in disadvantaged group. Those people should be supported by the government of India, not only on the basis of caste, not only on the basis of caste, but on the basis of class. So you can find some of the people from high caste, they are economically in the disadvantaged group. Okay, you can, they can be categorized under general caste or OBC also. Then again, some other group of people like transgenders, they also come under this economically weaker section group. Transgenders, they also economic status is not good. So since the beginning, we have been following, traditionally we are following reservation based on caste. But according to court now, they say that the time has come to change the reservation policy based on economic status. Okay. Now again, we can find in different parts of the country, people from upper caste, they are against this reservation. They are coming out with different protests in the different parts of the country. If you see example from Maharashtra, Maratha people, then Jat people, then those who are from high caste, but they are also against this reservation policy because of changing in the caste and class structure. Now those who are against this bill, argument against this bill, so it is going to break this 50% cap, equity norms, we call it equity norms. So already 50% reservation is there in the country. According to court, Supreme Court, we should not breach this 50% criteria, this quota of 50%. So if you include all the castes, all the reservations, so mostly we should not cross this 50% reservation in any institute or any government job. We should not cross breach this line 50% reservation. But in this 10% of the reservation for the EWS, it is in addition of the 50%. Is the in addition of the 50%. So 10% seats will be reserved for EWS in addition to the already 50% that is present. So it goes against these equity norms. And according to the Supreme Court, this equity norms is a basic structure of the Indian Constitution. So if they add 10% extra to this 50% cap, then they are going to destroy this equity norms. This is one of the argument. Now the next argument, that they have given the criteria to consider as economically weaker section. And those who are the economically weaker sections, the per people, the households that are not earning more than 8 lakhs per annum, 8 lakhs per annum per year annually. Okay, the people those who are earning less than 8 lakhs per year are categorized as economically weaker section. So if you see in the country, most of the people, more than 90% of people, you can find that they are earning less than 8 lakhs per year, 8 lakhs per annum. So many people will come in this group, economically weaker section group. And as we can see, if all of them come under this economically weaker section group, mostly because most of the people in India, they are having very less per capita income, so they'll come under this group only because they're earning less than 8 lakhs per year. So if you see a huge group of people we can find in this economically weaker section group, then again, according to this category, there is not enough government job. As you can see, the employment rate is decreasing. The employment rate is decreasing, means unemployment rate is increasing, and accordingly, government job is not enough. Even in bank also, government job is not enough. So instead of providing this government jobs, reservation in government job, what the government should have done, they should have invested more in private companies. Private companies. If the government would have invested more in private companies, then the people would have joined these private companies, irrespective of this reservation. Based on merit, they could have joined these private companies. Then again, 8 lakhs per annum. In this group, the people who are categorized as economically weaker sections. So you can find two kind of people here: those who are below poverty line and people who are earning less than 8 lakhs per annum. So you can find different kind of people here in this category. People who are below poverty line, those who are earning very less amount of money, and people who are earning around 7 to 8 lakhs per annum. So we are putting all this group of people in the same group. So it is another loophole in this bill. So there are some issues. That's why people are some of them are supporting this bill and some of them are against this bill. Now, how it could have solved instead of giving this economic sections? Yeah, it is a good step taken by the government that they are trying to help the group of people who are economically in the disadvantaged group. Though they are by caste, they may be in upper caste, but economic status is not good for them. It is very good step taken by the government. But at the same time, as we can see, the number of job is not enough in the country. And for that, what the government should have done, they should have invested more in this private sector, and they should have tried to support this on entrepreneurship, all these things. Then through that, we could have provided more job to the people of the country. And with this, I have completed this topic also. And one thing is Indira Sohni case, 1992. In this case, Indira Sohni case in 1992, the government tried to give 10% reservation. 10% reservation to the economically weaker section group. In this year 1992, in the Indira Sohni case, what happened? The Supreme Court has struck down this scheme of the government. The scheme of the government under which the government was planning to give 10% reservation to the economic weaker sections, they have struck down it in the Indira Sohni case, the famous Indira Sohni case. And after that, the government has taken again restarted this bill, economic weaker sections bill. Now, from the different facts that we have discussed and the different positive and negative aspects that we have seen about this bill, now we should be able to write it down. If you get any kind of essay or you can get any kind of question in mains, you should be able to analyze this topic. Next topic is Northeast Autonomous Bill Councils. Northeast Autonomous Council. No, Northeast Autonomous Council. There are some autonomous district in the autonomous district of the north in the sixth schedule area of the country. Sixth schedule, six schedule areas. Now, what are the six schedule areas in the country? Those are mostly occupied by. Actually, they are inhabited by tribes. The areas in northeastern area, these are habited by the tribes. The states of Assam, in the sixth schedule area, you can find the state of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, Tripura, and Mizoram. So in these states, the tribal people in these states, the tribal areas in these states, they come under sixth schedule areas, and they have been provided autonomous council. Autonomous council. There are 10 autonomous council in this area. In this whole state, we can find 10 autonomous council. The districts that are mostly habited by this tribal people are actually categorized as autonomous council. Each and every autonomous district are autonomous council, and they have 30 members. They have 30 members in every autonomous council. In every autonomous council, there are 30 members. There are around 10 autonomous council in these states. Now, we're going to see what are the changes that need to be made in this autonomous council to perform their job better. So there are some problem with this autonomous council, issues with the autonomous council. Issues of this autonomous council are lack of financial independence. fund, lack of fund. As you can see, the fund they actually come from the state government, the fund that comes from the state government, and again they have to depend totally on the state government for the fund. Mostly they have to depend on the state government, and thus if the supply of fund is not smooth, then it may hamper the activity or job of this autonomous council, because the autonomous council take care of most of the economic activities of the autonomous region. Activities, economic activities like land revenue, then the other law related issues like marriage, divorce, then selling of land, okay, involvement of non-tribal people in lending money. All these things have to be taken care by the members of this autonomous council. And for to maintain to do all these activities, they need fund, and the supply of the fund from the they have to totally depend. Mostly they have to depend on the supply of fund from the state government. So this is an issue. And there is another issue is non some of the tribes are not represented, not represented. So in this autonomous council of 30 members, sometimes you can find in some of the autonomous council is that most of the tribes are not represented here. So they could not include all the tribes in this autonomous council. So there is another issue that is going on with this autonomous council. Then inadequate representation of women. The representation of women is inadequate in this autonomous council. So the government is planning to provide 1/3% of the seats reserved for the women in this autonomous council, Northeast Autonomous Council. So these are some issues that we have discussed now that need to be addressed by the government of India, so that the problem of the Northeast Autonomous Council can be solved. Now what we have to see here, this Northeast Autonomous Council, they're the autonomous, actually they're the council that are found in the autonomous district. They are from in the autonomous district of Assam. Not only in Assam, Assam, Tripura, Mizoram, and Meghalaya autonomous district. So these districts and these four states that I have explained, they come under sixth schedule, sixth schedule area, and most of the laws of the central government doesn't apply directly on them. So the laws, they can make some of the laws, and that will be, if they get the assent of the governor, then it will be passed in these areas. The laws, many of the laws will be passed in by this autonomous council only, according to need, according to the situation, according to the environment of these areas. And those laws, that bill will be passed when the government will put their sign on this bill in the six scheduled areas. The last topic that we are going to discuss is about international relation. In international relation part, we're going to talk about the relation of India with the Central Asian countries. India and Central Asian countries. Central Asia. Relation of India with Central Asia. Now, when I say Central Asia, it includes five countries. It includes a group of countries starting from Kazakhstan, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, and Tajikistan. So these are the countries that come under this Central Asia. So we're going to talk about the resources like uranium, gold, then this one, fossil fuels, natural gas. They're full of all these resources. And in India, since India we have a very big population and we need to consume all these products. Even uranium is required for India because we are involved in this nuclear fuel. We need nuclear fuel. For that you need uranium. So we need to have a very good relation with these countries: Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, and Tajikistan. So these countries are mostly landlocked. First of all, these countries are mostly landlocked countries. When I say landlocked country, it means they do not have access to open seas. They do not have access to open seas. Though some of them, two of the countries may have border with Caspian Sea. But Caspian Sea is not actually a sea; it is a lake. Caspian Sea is a lake. Okay, it is not a sea. It is not an open sea. That's why we do not consider this country, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, these countries as uh, uh, border having with open sea. They're actually landlocked country. And if you consider especially about Uzbekistan, Uzbekistan is actually double landlocked country. This country is double landlocked because this country is surrounded by again countries that are already landlocked. This country, Uzbekistan, is surrounded by another countries that are already landlocked. So Uzbekistan here is double landlocked. Now, how India can come in contact with each of these countries? How India can come in contact with each of these countries to fulfill the needs, economic needs, and how India can support these countries in their path of development. Now, again, as we can see, there's a port called Chabahar Port. Now, India and Iran in partnership, they are making one port at the coast of Iran, in the Makran coast. You can find a port called Chabahar Port. Through that port, what India is trying to do, India is trying to use the port in the western part of the country, from the Kandla in the Gujarat area, from the Kandla and from the Jawaharlal Nehru port. India will try to send its goods to the Iran. This is the Iran. In the Iran, there is a Chabahar port, and through the Chabahar port, we can supply our goods to Afghanistan. Again, we can use this port to supply. Mostly, actually, we have made this port for Afghanistan only in the very beginning, because there is a country called Pakistan in mid of Afghanistan and India. So we do not have route access to Afghanistan through the country of Pakistan. That's why we need to make this Chabahar port, and this Chabahar port that we have made in partnership with Iran. It will not only help our contact with Afghanistan, but also with the countries of Central Asian countries here. The Central Asian countries that are present here. Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, all these countries that are present in the Central Asian part. So through this port, Chabahar port, where India can come in contact with these Central Asian countries. And the Central Asian countries, especially Kazakhstan, they have a huge stock of uranium. And we need uranium for feeding our nuclear fuel. Nuclear reactors need uranium. Then again, Uzbekistan has become the second country to provide uranium to India recently. Okay, from the beginning, Kazakhstan was providing uranium to India. Uzbekistan has become the second country to provide uranium to India. Now, what are the problems that we have? What are the problems that we face while we talk about this relationship of India and Central Asia? What are the barriers that come in front of India? Because the Central Asia countries is very important from geostrategic point of view, because they are having boundaries with countries like Russia, China, and the European part. So this part of the world is very important geostrategically. First of all, China, they're having border with China. Now here this is China, and you can find India here. So China is having contact with Central Asia, and mostly China is having business with the Central Asia. Most of the investment in Central Asia is done by China, and the trade relation of India and Central Asia is merely $2 billion. It is merely 2 billion US dollar. The the economy of India and Central Asia is very less. It is merely $2 billion. But the economic relation of China and Central Asia is up to $50 billion. So China is mostly involved in the Central Asian countries, and most of the issues in the domestic issues are influenced by the Chinese. So that is one of the barrier for the Indians. Again, to make contact, there is also a shortcut to the Uyghur regions, Xinjiang province of China. We could have gone to the Central Asia to the Xinjiang province of China. Again, in China, this Xinjiang province is actually affected by extremism. That is one of the reason that forms barrier for the Indians to go to this Xinjiang province. Again, this Silk Route belt, in the Silk Route belt of the China, the recent new Silk Route belt that is made by China recently, Central Asia is a very important part for the Chinese. And since India is not participating in this Silk Route road, so India cannot get access to this route. There are some barriers. Now, what India is trying to do, India is trying to make some economic program here, economic activity in here in this country, Central Asia. Because of that, we had India Central Asia dialogue in the January of this year. We had India and Central Asia dialogue, and through the dialogue, India came in contact with this all the minister of this foreign minister, the Indian foreign minister at the time came in touch with these Central Asian foreign ministers and have discussed the different barriers that could be solved. Now, different ways like TAPI project, Tajikistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran, India, Tajikistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran, and through this project, India is going to get supply of natural gas. It is actually pipeline project. Pipeline. This is a gas pipeline. And if the gas pipeline is complete, then India will get gas from this Central Asian region directly. One of the then in international India North-South trade corridor. International North-South trade corridor. And this international North-South trade corridor will connect the India from this Kandla port, Indian port. Hmm? Oh. So through this INSTD, in North-South Trade Corridor, Indian landmass is going to be connected to the Central Asian part. Okay, through Turkmenistan, all these countries, through Iran, then we can connect a Indian seaport. So these are some of the steps that have taken by the government of India and the countries of this region to improve the ties between the two countries. And one more important issue is that this Central Asia part is very vulnerable to extremism. This Central Asian part is very vulnerable to extremism. Extremism, like this terrorist group like Al Qaeda, ISIS, Islamic State terrorists, they are very near to this region. So if India invest in future, then it may be difficult for the investor because of this extremism in these countries. So there are some problems that we're having with this part of the country. But if you try to take steps economically, culturally, then we can solve the problem, and at the same time we can both meet the need for both the countries. India needs fuels, fossil fuels, uranium, natural gas, gold, all these things they can acquire from this Central Asian part. Again, Central Asian needs the expertise of India in the field of information technology, then pharmaceutical industry, then tourism industry. So in the case of tourism, pharmaceuticals, and information technology, India can provide expertise to the Central Asian countries and help them in the economic development. So these are some issues that we are having at international level with Indian Central Asian countries. Now, and with this, I have completed this current affairs topic for today. And in the next class, again, we'll cover the important current affairs topic from this year itself. And if you have liked this video, please share the video and subscribe the channel. Thank you.